In a quiet neighborhood, lived a veteran named Michael. With a proud record of service in the army, he had dedicated many years to protecting the freedoms his country cherished. After returning home, he settled into a modest house with his family, where they enjoyed the simple joys of life together. The values he learned during service, honor, respect, and love for his country, resonated deeply within him. One sunny morning, inspired by those very values, Michael decided to put up a U.S. flag in his front yard. To him, the flag symbolized not only his past sacrifices but also community and unity. His children helped him hoist the flag high on the pole, and as it fluttered gently in the breeze, they all beamed with pride. It was a moment that celebrated their family's heritage and reminded them of the brave men and women who fought for their freedom. However, unbeknownst to Michael, this simple act of patriotism would spark unexpected trouble. A neighbor named Linda, who lived a few houses down, harbored strong opinions about how homes should look in their residential area. She saw Michael's flag as an eyesore rather than a symbol of pride. This disagreement would soon escalate and lead to challenges that Michael couldn't have anticipated. Little did he know that this small gesture would trigger a fight for fairness rooted in both friendship and community spirit. On that bright morning, as the sun began to rise, Michael felt a surge of pride and excitement. He gathered his children in the front yard, where they could feel the fresh breeze and hear the distant chirping of birds. With a small ladder and the flag in hand, he explained to them the significance of the U.S. flag. It was not just fabric, but a representation of sacrifice, bravery, and the ideals of freedom that he had fought to protect. As he carefully attached the flag to the pole, his heart swelled with emotion. Each knot he tied felt like a connection to his past and a gift to his children. With their little hands helping him, they lifted the flag high, watching it unfurl against the clear blue sky. The colors danced in the wind, red for valor, white for purity, and blue for justice, creating a beautiful sight that brought smiles to their faces. Neighbors walking by paused to admire the display, some even waving in acknowledgement. Michael felt a sense of community spirit enveloping him. It was as if everyone shared this moment of pride. They were all part of something bigger than themselves. The flag stood tall, fluttering gracefully, symbolizing unity and remembrance, while Michael's family stood together, feeling connected not just to each other but to all those who had served and sacrificed before them. Little did they know, this simple act would soon lead to unforeseen conflict in their tight-knit neighborhood. As the days passed, what began as a moment of pride for Michael slowly turned into a source of tension in the neighborhood. Linda, a neighbor known for her rigid views on property aesthetics, couldn't shake off her displeasure. To her, the flag was not a symbol of pride but rather an unsightly disruption to the uniformity she valued in their community. One evening, fueled by frustration, Linda decided to take action. She picked up her phone and dialed the Homeowners Association, HOA, voicing her complaint about Michael's newly displayed flag. "It's too large and distracts from the neighborhood's appearance," she argued to the HOA representative, insisting that it violated community guidelines. Her tone was filled with indignation, and she emphasized how important it was to maintain cohesion in their residential area. The HOA, eager to uphold its rules, took her complaint seriously. Within days, a letter arrived at Michael's doorstep, outlining fines for displaying the flag without prior approval. Confused and hurt, Michael couldn't believe that his simple act of honoring his country had been met with such hostility. The community spirit he felt just days earlier now seemed overshadowed by Linda's grievance. As he read the letter, determination replaced confusion. He knew he had to stand up for what he believed in and challenge the unfairness that was unfolding around him. As Michael sat at his kitchen table, a sense of unease washed over him when he opened the letter from the HOA. It outlined the fines he was being imposed for displaying the flag without proper approval. The words seemed harsh and unfair, echoing in his mind as he tried to comprehend how something so precious could be penalized. He felt anger bubbling beneath the surface. This was more than just a financial penalty, it felt like a direct attack on his values and beliefs. In a fit of frustration, he reread the letter, searching for any explanation that might justify this sudden hostility. The fines were substantial, and imagining having to pay for something that symbolized his service left him feeling defeated. How could they not see the flag as a testament to courage and sacrifice, rather than an eyesore? Feeling isolated, Michael reached out to some friends within the community who had always encouraged him in his efforts to honor those who served. They were just as shocked when he shared the news. "This isn't right," one friend said firmly, echoing what Michael felt deep down. With newfound determination, Michael decided he would not let this injustice go unchallenged. Fueled by a sense of purpose, he began to consider his options. He had fought for freedom once, and now he was ready for another battle, this time, for fairness in his own neighborhood. Fueled by a mix of anger and determination, Michael decided it was time to uncover the truth about Linda. He felt that if he was being unfairly targeted, then perhaps there were secrets hiding beneath her complaint that could help his case. With the help of a few friends who had experience with similar situations, he learned how to access public records. Early one Saturday morning, armed with a notepad and a sense of purpose, Michael ventured to the local county office. The musty smell of paper and old documents surrounded him as he sifted through property records and tax information. Each page turned filled him with anticipation. He was searching for anything that could show Linda's credibility, or lack thereof, in her complaint. After hours of digging, he stumbled upon something shocking: Linda owed back taxes on her property. This revelation startled him, prompting questions about why she felt entitled to enforce HOA rules when she herself was not compliant with her own financial obligations. To make matters even more complicated, records indicated that Linda wasn't even a registered member of the HOA. Michael couldn't believe his findings. The more information he gathered, the clearer it became that Linda's complaint might have been driven by her own issues rather than a genuine concern for the neighborhood. Armed with this new knowledge, he prepared to confront the HOA and defend his right to display the flag, ready to push back against the injustices thrust upon him. As Michael reviewed the public records, his heart raced with each new discovery about Linda. The revelation that she owed back taxes on her property was particularly shocking. It seemed almost ironic that someone who was trying to enforce HOA rules was herself neglecting her financial responsibilities. How could she demand compliance from others when she wasn't upholding her own obligations? The amount of back taxes was significant, and it made Michael wonder how long this had been going on. He felt a mix of anger and disbelief. It was as if Linda's complaint about his flag was a deflection from her own issues. The more he thought about it, the clearer it became that her actions were rooted in something deeper than just aesthetics. This unexpected twist not only strengthened his resolve but also shifted his perspective on the situation. He realized he had to approach the HOA with this newfound information, armed with facts that could challenge Linda's credibility. It felt empowering to hold such crucial knowledge that could potentially turn the tide in his favor. Michael began drafting a letter to the HOA, outlining Linda's tax issues along with proof of her lack of HOA membership. He wanted them to see that her complaint was not just an isolated incident but part of a larger pattern of behavior. As he put pen to paper, he felt a renewed sense of purpose bubbling inside him. He was ready to stand up for what was right and reclaim the pride he felt for his flag and service. As Michael continued to dig deeper into Linda's background, another shocking detail emerged: she was not even a registered member of the Homeowners Association. This revelation left him speechless. How could someone who wasn't part of the HOA take it upon herself to complain about his flag? It was as if she had no real authority to enforce the very rules she claimed he had violated. Michael pondered this newfound information, connecting the dots between Linda's actions and her lack of membership. He realized that by filing her complaint, she might have been overstepping her bounds in an attempt to exert control over their neighborhood. This made all her previous grievances seem less valid and more like a personal vendetta against him for reasons he still couldn't fully understand. Fueled by this discovery, Michael felt an overwhelming sense of empowerment. Not only did he now possess evidence of Linda's financial irresponsibility, but he also had proof that she lacked the standing to dictate how others should behave within the community. This opened up a new avenue for his response to the HOA. With a clear strategy in mind, Michael began crafting a comprehensive letter that included both Linda's tax issues and her non-member status. He wanted the HOA to see that her complaint was unfounded and that he would not be bullied into compliance by someone whose authority was questionable at best. As he wrote, he felt invigorated, ready to take a stand for his right to honor his service and display the flag with pride. With the findings in hand, Michael felt it was essential to share his discoveries with the rest of the community. He had seen firsthand how Linda's complaints could target other well-meaning residents, and he wanted to rally support to address the situation collectively. The following week, he organized a gathering at a nearby park, inviting neighbors for an informal meeting. As people arrived, conversation buzzed with curiosity about Michael's stance against the HOA fines. He shared Linda's financial issues and her lack of HOA membership, emphasizing that they were part of a larger conversation about fairness in their neighborhood. Many residents listened intently, their expressions shifting from uncertainty to realization as they connected the dots. During the meeting, several neighbors expressed similar frustrations regarding arbitrary fines placed on their properties. They spoke up about their own experiences with enforcing rules that felt one-sided or unfairly applied. Michael encouraged them to share their stories, creating an atmosphere of solidarity. Inspired by the response, Michael decided that they needed a stronger presence at the next HOA meeting. Together, they prepared a unified statement highlighting concerns over improprieties within the HOA. With new friends rallying by his side, he felt emboldened to challenge not only Linda's complaint but also to advocate for changes that would ensure fairness for everyone living in their community. As they walked into the HOA meeting together, Michael's heart swelled with pride, knowing that this movement was about more than the flag. It was a meaningful effort to restore balance and mutual respect among all residents. The atmosphere in the neighborhood shifted dramatically as Michael and his fellow residents prepared to confront the HOA. At the upcoming meeting, people began to voice their support for Michael's stand against the perceived unfairness of Linda's complaints and the HOA's responses to those complaints. As they gathered, conversations buzzed with excitement and determination. Neighbors who had once felt hesitant or uncertain now found strength in unity. They shared stories of their own experiences with arbitrary fines and how often the HOA's rules felt selectively enforced. Michael's bravery had sparked a discussion that went beyond his situation. It became a broader reflection on the fairness of the rules governing their community. At the HOA meeting, tensions ran high as Michael presented his comprehensive findings. He detailed Linda's tax issues and her lack of registration with the HOA, prompting nods of agreement from the audience. Residents began to speak up, challenging other questionable practices within the HOA and spotlighting discrepancies that had gone unnoticed until now. Seeing their boldness, many people joined in, voicing concerns about what they deemed unfair rules or personal agendas influencing decisions. This collective pushback resonated with everyone present, parents, seniors, and new residents alike, who all shared a vision of a community based on mutual respect and inclusivity. By the end of the meeting, it was clear that Michael's stand had inspired a necessary dialogue within the neighborhood. The community rallied behind him, ready to ensure that fairness would guide their collective future, transforming this conflict into an opportunity for growth and unity. In the days following the HOA meeting, the atmosphere in the neighborhood transformed. Michael felt a deep sense of fulfillment as he watched his community come together, united in their commitment to fairness and respect. The HOA acknowledged their concerns, promising to review its policies and ensure that rules would be enforced fairly for all residents. For Michael, this resolution was more than just a victory over unfair fines. It was a reaffirmation of his values as a veteran and a proud American. He realized that standing up for his right to display the flag was about much more than just fabric and color. It represented the principles of bravery, sacrifice, and the power of collective action that he had once fought to defend. As neighbors began to decorate their homes with flags and symbols of pride, Michael felt an overwhelming sense of joy. He saw how his stand had inspired others to express their patriotism openly and without fear. It was a reminder that community involvement was essential for nurturing a vibrant neighborhood where every voice mattered. Reflecting on the entire ordeal, Michael understood how vital it was to challenge injustice when it arose. He had learned the importance of unity in the face of adversity and felt honored to play a part in fostering a more inclusive environment for everyone. With his flag proudly waving in the breeze, he smiled, knowing that he had not only defended his own rights but had also strengthened the bonds within his community, paving the way for a future where respect and fairness would prevail.